What's going on, guys? It's BDoms, and I'm bringing you guys a little bit of a different video. Some of you guys have said that you wanted me to make a separate video explaining kind of my situation right now, what I've been going through. So I decided that I'm going to do that. I've already recorded this twice, so I don't I don't know how this is going to come out. The first time, right as the recording was saving, I had like a little power flicker, and my computer shut off and it corrupted the file. Second time, I was editing and something happened and the file got corrupted. I don't know what's going on. So I'm not even going to edit this one. I'm just going to let it, however it turns out, it turns out. I did do I spent a lot of time editing that too. I cut down like a 30-minute rant into about 10 minutes or so. So, yeah, I'm a little mad about that one. I didn't save my work along the way. Something I'm going to do in the future. And I just didn't feel like editing it again. And it wasn't made to be uploaded the way it was. There were times where in the middle of the recording, I got up and walked away for a minute to go do something, came back. I have to record it again. So I'm sorry if this seems a little less genuine than maybe some of my other videos like this would normally be. Ignore the bag of popcorn behind me. Um, so, right after the Ghost Pepper Challenge, or actually, right before the Ghost Pepper Challenge, I had done quite a bit of driving that week. Um, I the weekend before that, I ended up driving about 2.5 hours away from where I am now. A lot of in and out of my car, stuff like that for a family thing. And then later that week, again, I had to do a lot of driving. And then I also ended up having a little bit of a coughing fit. I don't really know what started it. I don't know if it was just allergies or what, but I was outside. I took a breath, and all of a sudden, I just started coughing. And I think just the combination of all that aggravated a pre existing issue I have in my spine. I have degenerative disc disease. A lot of times, you guys might hear me complain that my neck or my lower back are bothering me. It's because of that. I also have some arthritis there too. But what's happening now is actually the very center of my spine. I have what they call bulging discs. It's similar to like a herniated disc, but from what I know, a herniated disc is like a completely ruptured disc, whereas a bulging disc means it's like dislocated. So for all intents and purposes, it's basically a dislocated back, I guess. Um, I could be wrong about that. I don't know 100% on that, but it's my T5 and T6 vertebrae in that area. So if you want to look up a picture of a spine, I actually had a picture that I was putting in the video before. I just Google T5 and it'll come up if you want to see exactly where it is. But it's basically the exact center of the spine. So why did I end up in the hospital with just that? Well, what happened is by the disc being out of place, it started aggravating the nerves and it started aggravating the muscles. During doing all the driving I did, that coughing fit I had, and then doing the ghost pepper challenge on top of that, basically what happened is if you picture the back and like cut it down the middle and then like across the middle like this, the top left part of my back, pretty much every muscles go like this, like they contract and let go, contract, let go. That's how they work. My muscles contracted and just never let go. It wasn't even quite a spasm, it was more just the muscles completely locked up. It made it very difficult to breathe. Every time I took a breath, I had so much pain that I just wanted to cry. And I honestly, I did cry quite a bit. I ended up in the hospital. I did the ghost pepper challenge on a Saturday. That Sunday, I was in the hospital. Um, Monday, I went back to the hospital, and both times that hospital basically just said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Take a few painkillers and you'll be fine." Well, by Wednesday, I was in so much pain that I almost actually needed an ambulance just because I literally couldn't even get in my mom's car for her to take me to the hospital. I couldn't bend enough to get inside of the car. I'm almost 6'1". I'm not like super tall, but I'm fairly tall. And trying to bend, I mean, I only had to bend about that much to get in. And I literally, it took me about 5 minutes to get in. It was brutal. I finally just had to deal with the pain and just get in there. So she ended up taking me to a different hospital that's a little bit further away from where I live. But they were like, this isn't normal. You shouldn't be in this much pain just from a back injury. I don't care what back injury it is. So they admitted me to the hospital. The first day I was there, it basically was just me waiting. I was there for about 3 hours before I even got any pain meds. And then once I did, they never stopped giving me the pain meds. It was like every hour and a half for the first 24 hours I was there. It was a mixture of Percocet, morphine, and Dilaudid, which are like pretty much the three strongest painkillers they have. And even that was when they asked you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, even with all that, it was still like a 7. And normally they give you that stuff when it's around a 7 or an 8. So, that it was pretty bad. So the first day it was basically just waiting to get admitted. They, how hospitals are, they get backed up or whatever. So I wasn't in the emergency room. They have like a separate area where you can wait to be admitted. That's also the same place where they bring you, where like if you come into the ER and then you need to have surgery like the next day, they'll bring you there instead of admitting you, because then you're going to go to a different floor afterwards anyways. So they put me in there, managed my pain, and then the second day I ended up getting into a room, and I had a roommate for about 2 hours. And between all the pain, I hadn't slept that first night that I was there. I was up all night long. So between the pain, that, and just everything else, I ended up having an anxiety attack. And I was really lucky. The nurse that was on call at the time, she was the overnight nurse. She was like, "Let me see what I can do for you." She comes back about 10 minutes later and was like, "All right, we got you a new room." I had my own room, which was actually bigger than my bedroom here, which was really, really nice to have my own room because it didn't happen very often. The only reason I was able to do that was because the day after I left the hospital, they actually closed that wing for renovations. So I was the last patient that was actually brought into that wing. So they had a few extra rooms. It was actually a handicap room, which is why there was only one bed instead of two. But yeah, so I got my own room, which was pretty nice. And then that's when the tests started coming. I think it was day 3 that I was there. They tried sending me for an MRI, and I didn't fit in the machine. Now you might be thinking, "Oh, you're too fat to fit in the machine," which is what I was thinking initially, was that I might be too fat to get in the machine, but it wasn't even that. The width of my shoulders prevented me from going into the machine. That's how small their MRI machine was. I mean, I do have really wide shoulders, like even without the weight, like I'm just naturally broad-shouldered. But there was no way I was getting in there. So they have a medical center right across the street from there. The problem with that is, obviously, I'm admitted to the hospital. I can't just walk across the street. So I actually ended up having my very first ambulance ride, which was all of about 2 minutes. They loaded me onto a stretcher, brought me all the way down to the ambulance, put me in the ambulance, drove across the street, took me back out of the ambulance, and they had a normal sized MRI machine. I've had plenty of MRIs before. I've never had a problem getting into them, and they even said that they had the MRI machine they had in the hospital was rarely used. It was only used for like extreme emergencies. They always use the one across the street, so I guess that's why. But anyways, so the MRI showed the bulging discs and everything, and then after that, it was more just getting my pain to a point where I was actually able to go home. I was in the hospital for 4 nights, 5 days. I was supposed to be in there. I was supposed to leave the day before I left. But when they started cutting back on my pain meds, I actually started getting sick from the pain, like physically sick. So they kept me one extra night. They changed they had me on painkillers, and they got rid of the morphine, but they had the other two that I mentioned every 3 hours. They brought those back, and they changed my muscle relaxer that they gave me, and then the next day I was able to go home. And since then, I haven't really done much. That was what, 6 weeks ago now. I want to say 7 weeks. Uh, I had a part of the reason why it's taking so long to get going was I didn't have health insurance when this all started. I do now. I got on Mass Health, which, if you guys are in the United States, you guys know that a lot of states have they have government sponsored programs for people who don't have money or don't have insurance or whatever, and there's different levels. I qualified for full coverage. I don't pay anything, which is great. Um, as soon as I get a job that's probably going to go away, I'm going to have to start paying for it. But as of right now, I don't have to pay for it. But that took a little time. And then, in order to get these injections that I've been saying I'm going for, I'm actually going for them in, what time is it? I'm leaving in about 30 minutes or so for that. So I'm literally just recording this, hitting upload, and walking out the door. So I hope it works. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to upload it when I get home. But yeah, so in order to go for these shots, I can't just go for whatever reason. I can't. They recommend at the hospital that I go to a pain clinic and they do the shots because that's really the only place you can get them. Um, but in order to go to the pain clinic, I need a referral from a primary care doctor, and I haven't seen a doctor in 2 years, maybe more, because I didn't have insurance. So I had to find a primary care doctor. Then what happened was the insurance that I guess with Mass Health, they sign you up based on whatever hospital is closest to you. So the doctors associated with that hospital and all that. Well, the one that was closest to me was the one that completely screwed up, and I didn't want to go through them. So I had to wait like 3 days for them to transfer. I had to call them back and have them change me over to a different hospital. Took like 3 days to go into effect, and then finally saw that doctor. Then it took 2 weeks to get a pain clinic meeting. I saw them, and then it took another 2 weeks before I could get the shots done. So it's been a long, long journey, and there's still a long road ahead. So that's the past. I'm going to talk about the present and then the future. Those are going to be a lot shorter than the past because there's just less to say. But today I'm going in for those shots, and basically what they're going to do is they're going to use an X-ray machine, taking constant X-rays, so they can actually watch the needle go into my spine, and they're going to inject whatever it is. I don't know if it's like a cortisone type thing or if it's something different, but they're going to inject it directly into my spine. Not my spinal cord, but the area around my spinal cord. And the only real risk with this, I mean, other than the fact that you're going around the spinal cord, if you get an infection or something, it's bad, but that's usually very rare. The only real concern is because of where it is in my spine. There's a lot of blood vessels in that area, so it's probably not gonna feel good for a few days. I've had these injections once in my lower back, and it wasn't a fun experience. For like 2 days, I basically couldn't even sit. I had to lay down or stand up. So I'm hoping this isn't going to be like that, but at the same time, from what the doctor was saying, this is literally the worst place I could possibly get these injections. So I don't know. We'll see. That's why I'm planning on not doing anything for a couple of days. I was planning on having a video for tomorrow. I don't think it's going to happen now. I didn't have time. I thought I was gonna have more time yesterday, and my friend ended up coming by a lot sooner than I expected him to. So it is what it is. I'm probably just gonna have a down day tomorrow. I might post like an update video, like just from my phone or something, or maybe from here. It depends if I can sit. But I might post like a quick update video on my phone just to let you guys know how everything went tomorrow. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so that's the present. Now, what I have to do for the future? I'm probably going to need more than one series of these shots. She said upwards of 3. I'm hoping one does the trick, but I might need a second round of them. And also, I'm gonna have to start going to physical therapy. I don't know how that's gonna affect, YouTube. Depends on when I can get appointments, but because I don't work, it shouldn't really affect anything. Um, I should be able to go, mid afternoon or whatever, and then be back to stream no problem. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna have to do a lot of physical therapy. Probably go for another round of injections, maybe two. I am still on painkillers. I have them right here, but I'm not taking them nearly as much. It says take one tablet by mouth twice a day is needed for pain. I'm taking like half of one, maybe 5 days a week. Sometimes, like, I'll take a half and then I'll need another half later on. It just depends on my pain, but I'm trying to not take them just because I know painkillers are bad for you, and those are really strong painkillers. But you know, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. I know a lot of people don't like taking medications, but there comes a point, like me, if I don't need to take a medication, I'm not going to take it just to take it. But there also gets to a point where you just can't function without it. And that's how I am with my back. If I don't take one of those painkillers, I can't stream. And that's part of the reason why I haven't been streaming every day, is that I can't sit for more than like a half hour unless I have the painkillers in me. And I'm sure you guys have noticed on the streams lately, I've been a little bit spacey. It's what the pills do to me. I don't take pills very often. I take an acid reflux pill. Maybe some Tylenol or ibuprofen every once in a while, but they hit me really hard, and I don't like them. So I don't. The reason I haven't been streaming as much is just because I don't want to be relying on medication to get me through streams. I want to actually enjoy the stream. I want you guys to enjoy the stream. But at the same time, I do enjoy doing it regardless. So I've been trying to make an effort to do it 3 times a week, for the last, week or two. And I'm going to try again to stream on Friday. It might end up being Saturday, depends on how I feel. But um, that's basically it, guys. You know, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. Maybe in my follow up video tomorrow, I can answer some questions you guys might have. But I hope that I covered everything. I hope you guys have a better understanding of really what I've been through, because I didn't. I know I made a quick video when I was in the hospital saying that I was in the hospital and I wasn't going to be around. But since I got out of the hospital, I haven't really gone into too much depth about what was going on. So I hope this cleared things up. A lot of people have been asking for this, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.